And just like that, folks, another episode hitting you right in the chin. Today's episode, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to celebrate life. We're going to see if you recognize a voice, even though you don't recognize the face. And then we're going to get back into that battle stuff. You're going to love it, though. Be right back. Ta-da! How you like me now? As y'all know, it's Pretty Tone with the most, whatever. But now, we back with a good old show, Pop Culture Showdown. To my right, we got our good friend, Big Brian.
What up?
We got to my left, our other good friend, Big E. Not to be confused with Biggie, but just Big E. You know what I mean? And then we get back to me. So as I said before, today we're going to talk about the loss of an icon, a legend. I hate to hear his story go out like that, but we definitely going to celebrate his life. You know what I'm saying? We're going to let my man B get back into it. B, it's morphin' time.
Yeah, man. So we lost Jason David Frank. He was the Green Ranger, the White Ranger. He came back multiple times. He was pretty much
the Green Ranger and the White Ranger.
Yeah, when they changed into when Green Ranger lost his powers, then he came back in Mighty Morphin maybe the next season as the White Ranger. And then he was kind of like the face of Power Rangers. It's like you go to these cons, even for generations that have come afterwards, they kind of know Jason David Frank, and he was kind of the face.
Hold on. You talking about the one with the ponytail?
Yeah, man.
Because I wasn't really a big Power Rangers fan, even though I grew up in that lore. But yeah, he was John like the bad. He was John like the Big Bad Tony in that time.
He was a beast, man. Yeah. So just wanted to. It's sad that we lost him and the way that we lost him. But I kind of wanted to just pay tribute, pay honor to him. I grew up as a Power Rangers fan, even though it was kind of like past my generation when it came out in '93. Yeah. I was like 14, 15, where it was geared. Yeah, but they were high school, so I was like in high school.
6'3" at the house watching Power Rangers at 15. But I dig it. But I was watching it too. I
was into it, and I actually had the chance to meet Jason David Frank a few times at Richmond Comic-Con and Awesome Con here in DC. I got his autograph. I got a couple of my posters autographed. I got some pictures with him. So I was a huge fan, big fan.
You was telling me before he got a dojo, right?
Yeah, he has like a dojo, a martial arts school that's going to continue to stay open after his passing. But
any other moves?
I feel like you know that spinning kick?
Oh my God, I wish I could do that spinning kick.
The spinning kick he did, the very first episode he was in, all the other Rangers, this was at school, they was like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know. I think he said his name's Tommy or something. He's kicking. And they're like, geez.
They were shook, Daddy?
Yeah, they was.
Yeah, and then, he got Kimberly too. Kimberly was all hot and bothered by when she saw Tommy. So, you got that little Pink Ranger, Green Ranger romance that happened. So yeah.
They come out with a Pink Ranger, Green Ranger, like spinoff, like it was like a Turquoise Ranger?
Nah.
Plaid Ranger or something?
I think they did have one in the comics they had like a spinoff, yeah, he's been around for a while, and then he came back for like Dino Thunder.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm more familiar with. Yeah. Me being like younger, so I grew up with. I did see the reruns of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but the ones that I watched like while it was running was like Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. Now, he came back in Dino Thunder. He was like the mentor.
Hold up, this is all Power Rangers still?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like every year they were rebooted with a different cast.
They had like what they call like the Zordon era, which spanned like a few seasons from like '93 to like '98. But then after that, they would just do like one-off seasons, and then like you would have some people come back. So Jason David Frank came back in 2004 in Dino Thunder.
He was like their mentor. He was like an archaeologist professor.
Okay.
And then at first he was just helping them out or whatever, but then there's always that one episode where a villain pull up and they'd be like, oh yeah, we gonna kidnap your mentor or whatever. But little did they know it was Tommy Oliver. And he pulled out this morpher, he turned into the Black Ranger.
Oh, he's the Black Ranger now?
He's the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
He was the Black Ranger in Dino Thunder. Yeah.
So he's been the Green, the White, the Red Ranger in Zeo and Turbo, and then the Black Ranger in Dino Thunder. And then recently, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was Super Ninja Steel, where he had like the super super morpher, where he would.
Y'all
he
about
could,
to make me go back and watch this.
Yeah,
joint, man.
but he can morph. He can morph into
Thunders.
all the previous versions of his Ranger self, and he was fighting like a cyborg version of him. And that was a crazy fight. I think that was Super Ninja Steel that
He
came
beat
out.
a cyborg.
A robot version of himself, but he had this super morpher where he could morph into all the different versions, all his previous versions. And then even in Mighty Morphin, like, you know, when he was the evil Green Ranger, and then like when he busted into the back of the Zord, the Megazord, and went up in there and just gave him all the business.
No other character has, like, the whole thing about Power Rangers. I mean, we all know the formula. They fight the monster gets big, and then they get the big mech suit, right? He was the only person that they fought to go in their Zord.
Came in the back door.
And then they was like, what are you doing here? And he just beat him up inside of the Zord. And then the Zord from the outside is like...
It sounded like Tommy was a gangster out there.
He was. Like, he came in the back door and threw him out their own house.
My Zord punk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's like he was just iconic.
He did that to all, even the female Rangers?
All of them, all 5 of them. They was in the cockpit of the
He supposed to
Zord.
beat him up, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad it ain't nowadays. He got sued for that.
But yeah, the moment he came on, like, he was just a fan favorite. And he's been a fan favorite.
It was the ponytail, bro. I'm telling you, man.
I think that had partly something to do with it. They even mentioned that. They even like throws like a little something into it, like in some of the later seasons, and like, oh, you don't got the ponytail no more.
I know, I love it.
Oh, he was different. He ain't had the spank kick when he ain't had the ponytail.
Yeah.
You know, like Samson and Delilah.
An episode of Wild Force or something like that, where they reunited. They would have these one big special episodes where they reunite all they had all the Red Rangers up to that point.
Yeah.
And then the last person to show up was Tommy when he was the Red Zeo Ranger, and like
That's
everybody
right.
was like, oh yeah, it was like we about to give him the business now.
And then at the end of the episode, like, he was the one that walks away, and then everybody was like, "That's Tommy Oliver." He was like the Red Ranger. It's like everybody's like, "Look."
I love this nostalgic Ranger talk, man. Cause I ain't never watched it, but we gonna go ahead and take a quick break. We gonna come back and talk about another fan favorite that we gonna miss.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey, gentlemen, ladies, thanks for coming. We're gonna talk about that guy we miss. I don't even know his name, but I know a lot of his action work. We're gonna let Big E take the helm on this one because this was his favorite guy.
A week after we lost JDF, Jason David Frank,
Did you just give my man an acronym?
Yeah,
that's what it's called, man. JDF.
Kind of like the Heartbreak Kid with just JDF.
Something like that.
Y'all are crazy. Stop and continue.
ABL. Anyway, we lost Kevin Conroy. If you may not be familiar with the name or the face, you definitely know the voice. He is the voice of Batman. He has voiced the Batman for over 20 years. He originally voiced Batman back in 1992 for the long-standing Batman the Animated Series, which is what a lot of people's like comic book fans, they're at least DC fans, their definitive like version of Batman. Like anybody who grew up watching that show, anytime they hear the theme song, they know exactly where it's from. Anytime they hear that Kevin Conroy's voice, they know it's like it's Batman. Like with me, whenever I see a Batman like on I guess on a video game, on TV, when I read the comic, I hear his voice. He's like even that iconic. When like he is,
Talk to you at night.
No.
About to say, if you hear his voice, is he talking back? If you respond to it, we might need to have an intervention with you.
It's interesting though, man, because I mean, it's funny though because a lot of people have that same sentiment that you have. It's like when people talk about all the characters, all the actors who have played Batman. I hear a lot of the same thing over and over again. They say that their definitive Batman is Kevin Conroy, not Michael Keaton, not Christian Bale, not Ben Affleck, it always comes back to Kevin Conroy. Yeah. And it's funny because I hear the same thing. It's like when people read comics, they hear his voice.
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman.
And I watched
While
it.
they're reading?
Yeah. They
God.
hear, that's the voice that they hear as Batman. You know, because he has such an iconic voice that defines the character.
It's like,
I can get that.
It's like how a lot of the older generation, they grew up with Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
And that's the only Superman they, like, obviously we've gotten other versions of Superman in media, but when they see Superman, when they think of Superman, they hear the theme song for Superman, they think of Christopher Reeve Superman.
Exactly.
When it comes to Batman for me, it's always it has been and always will be Kevin Conroy.
So he voiced the entire animated series.
Yes.
Yeah, and he played Batman in other iterations of animated shows and movies and the video games.
I know that voice from the video game.
He did the voice for the Batman Arkham game series, so he did a lot of the spin-off video games from the show. They had a few video games from the animated series. He's done countless other animated movies that weren't related to that, animated series, just like one-off movies. He's done voices in like sketches, like other video games like that. I think he just did the Multiverses, which
All
is
I
like
know is this, that animated series pretty much got me through the early 90s.
Animated series was great.
Yeah, I used to make my little tea, feel like it was coffee. I had my little cakes and stuff. I would watch the little 30, it was only 30 minutes, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know, it was something about the way they drew the cartoon up though. It looked like it was like retro or something like that.
Yeah,
but it made me feel like he was a real detective, you know what I'm saying? I always thought Batman was like the smartest dude on the planet. At least that version of him. Like the movie versions, he's not so bright, but in this one, he'll figure you out. He gonna come get you.
And that's another thing. He was the first actor, at least voice actor, to play Batman, to separate the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Because if you go back and look at the movies, you see Michael Keaton, you see Christian Bale, which is a very extreme case.
Yeah.
Well, even before the Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's extreme.
Because Kevin Conroy came before Christian Bale. He was the first person to separate the roles. So he would change his voice. So he would talk very more calm and subdued when he was Bruce Wayne, but then when he got to Batman, he would keep reaching deep down and get this very stern.
Yo, do you remember this episode where Batman was facing it wasn't Bane, but it was like some ninja who knew him? And he was Bruce Wayne. He was getting beat up by the little ninja, and some chick was watching the fight, and then somebody kind of threw something over her head so she wouldn't know that he was Batman, so she couldn't see the fight. Batman, he was all beat up, and then once the thing covered her head, he got to digging in my man business right quick. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, how you get this fighting skill? Y'all remember that episode? I remember it was like it was yesterday. He had a black eye. Then as soon as the little curtain, it was like a rug or something went over her head, she couldn't see. She was all tied up. He was like, yeah. Now we round two, buddy. And he got. I don't
remember that.
Oh my God, I'm
episode.
gonna pull it up as soon as we get an opportunity.
But I do I like what you say as far as him being able to separate those characters, because I think before that, I mean, really, it was just kind of like you had Michael Keaton and Adam West. Adam West, you definitely didn't have any separation of the character between Batman and Bruce Wayne, but Michael Keaton,
Batman when it was Adam West.
I mean, and Adam West was great for the time, for the mid '60s.
I didn't even like just seeing it. I did not like Batman.
I like the.
You ain't like this
I ain't like Batman. I like the Joker. I ain't like that ridiculous car. I ain't like those little.
I like the Riddler. The Riddler was cool, and then Catwoman, Eartha Kitt.
Of course.
I mean,
that was my boo though.
Yeah, and but I think with Kevin Conroy, and I think a lot of the live action versions that have come after him have really taken note from his portrayal as Batman and the way that they portray the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman in the live action movies. I think they get that.
What was more iconic to you in the Batman animated series? The backhand or that running kick where all you see is the foot before it lights out? You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing. It's just like the way his voice sounded, it just personified the character. It was just like he would be so especially when he in the Batman Beyond series. So Batman Beyond was after animated series 20, 30 years into the future where he was an old man, and he sounds even more worse, but
Old Man Bruce.
I wish I could just throw the batarang at the camera and we could just cut the commercial, but we'll be right back. You know what I'm saying?
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
And we're back. We're about to get into that good old Royal Rumble game that we all love, but before we do, I want to have a brief, quick moment of silence for them two people that passed. Y'all ready?
Let's do it, man.
And that's that. Hopefully when I go, it's something as epic as that. People get to talking about me on TV, right? That's crazy. Another guy, but you know what I'm saying, this episode's battle game is funny too, because one of my favorite characters, he passed away a while ago, I don't remember when he died, but I always wanted to match him up against somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we already had Bane on here. You know how I feel about Big Bad Bane.
Yeah.
That's like Batman's Debo, you know what I'm saying? But imagine if Bane had to fight Bolo Young from Bloodsport. And that's the only Bolo Young I want him to fight, because that Bolo Young was... Yeah, Chong Li. He had the headband. He was all sized. You know what I'm saying? That dude. It was like no remorse, Chong Li. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen Bloodsport?
Yeah. Is that where he gives the look where he like?
Yeah, he does that a lot. He like.
About ceremony here. You are next.
My man was like, "You are next.
Yeah.
I'll break you." Like
he should have been in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Just like I break your friend.
You break my record. Now I break you. Like I break your friend. Then I will break you.
The cuts in that movie were horrible. The transitions were the worst.
Yeah.
Also, if Chung Li pull out that dust and he throw it in Bane's face,
that dust would get bad.
that dust gonna be the equalizer.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, because I mean, you know, Bane don't really feel pain or something. I don't know. Like Batman was really getting in his business too, but at the end of the day, he just didn't feel no pain. So, but if you look at Bolo Young, they got the same walk down. You know what I'm saying? But they got the same job. Like, well, I don't know. Bane is a little.
Yeah, they both
buff.
got the swag when they walk. Yeah.
And then they both got that, you know, despair type of thing. You fighting your heart out and it just doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? My man Bolo headbutt somebody in their back.
I may give
You know what I'm saying? Headbutt my man in the back. You know what I mean? Like, how
Bane got that mask on though. He can't. How you gonna headbutt somebody and you going? I don't know.
I mean,
man.
but I'm saying like. Bolo was going to your body though, like you know what I'm saying. Like Bane ain't never had nothing. Like I don't care how much you cannot feel pain, you can't breathe.
But which Bane are we talking about? We talking about Dark Knight Rises
yeah,
or,
that Bane.
animated?
The rest of these Banes, we talking about Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
Bane.
Okay.
So the same Bane from the Dark Knight Rises, who got beat by a half crippled man.
But by accident though.
What do you mean by accident?
Man, I don't care what you say. Like that same crippled man got stabbed in his body by some random chick. And then my man Bane like, we both know I got to kill you. You know what I'm saying? You just gonna have to imagine
and then he
the
got
fight.
shot
by a cannon, a vehicle gun. It's like that was basically a surface-to-air missile.
But think about this.
Anti-tank
Hey
weapon.
man, Batman had that rage, man. He was looking for the trigger.
Where is it? Where's the trigger? Where is it? Where is it?
Where's the chief of the trigger man?
He had to find that trigger.
Batman jumped out there with Bane, right? It's funny because like he ran up on him in the snow, was getting dealt with, and as in the midst of his getting dealt with, his little costume elbow thing hit Bane in the face and somehow messed up the mask mechanism. And then even then, Bane was like, "Oh man, you know, if he'd have hit Batman blows, it'd have been a wrap."
Be good, but break, not hit back.
With that.
He gonna throw the dust in his face. He's gonna be like, then he gonna catch him in the body. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then at the end of the day, they both was killing everybody. Bolo was breaking necks. Bane was breaking necks.
So that one scene in Bloodsport, I don't know if it was Bolo Young that did it, but every time somebody mentions Bloodsport, this one shot comes to me is where he broke the dude's shin.
Yeah, that was Bolo. And he was like, he had my man by the neck, and my man was all
I think he came down on it or something, and they showed the shot of the.
And he came out, my man was like, ah!
Remember when he stomped on what's his name, John Claude Friend?
Jackson?
He was like.
Yeah, that dude frightens me, man.
Yeah, he might give it to Bane. I don't know. He might give Bane the business.
I ain't messing with
He
him.
would definitely wash up Bane, I think. Yes, he got back about it. At this point, Batman is the most beat up he's ever been. He has no cartilage in his knee. He has half a back. He comes back.
I mean, I can imagine, you know what I'm saying, Bolo getting beat on, though. You see how he, like, man, Bane was punching Batman's metal helmet into like, crumbles. You know what I mean? Like,
what if
Batman face was like,
what if Bolo fights Bane in the dark?
oh, there's no win for Bolo.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he was born in the dark.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
You gonna choke? I can't see somebody choking Bolo out though. Like you just ain't gonna choke.
He could be throwing dust in random places.
He got a bunch of it right here. He go like.
He got a bunch of sand.
Hey, yeah, but no, that's crazy. But we gonna leave that a toss. So we gonna leave that one to the fans. 'Cause I don't know who would win that one, but I'm going with Bolo for that. Yeah. Even though Bane's my man, you know Bane's my man. I'm going with Bolo for that. We're going to leave it up to the fans. But another fight everybody wanted to see, Leprechaun versus Chucky. You know what I'm saying?
Now, hold on, I got to ask a pivotal question.
What was that?
Is this Leprechaun from Leprechaun 1 or Leprechaun in the Hood? Leprechaun.
Hey,
You know what, though?
that's a big difference.
That's a big
I don't know,
That's a big
because it might
difference.
be, what you think? Leprechaun in the Hood was more vicious? I mean,
I
he
would
definitely
say-
had more like street cred, you know what I mean? But Chucky, at the end of the day, Chucky was from the streets anyway. Chucky was like, you know, he was John Grimy anyway.
Yeah.
He was already a criminal. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like just a random doll. He was a criminal. This is like a hardened felon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he was gonna be credited regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Chucky come with the one-liners. Like he know how to. Yeah.
Nah, his one-liners ain't messing with Leprechaun one-liners.
I mean, don't Leprechaun got magic?
So is Chucky. The whole thing about Chucky is magic.
Okay, him turning into the doll was magic, but him killing people wasn't magic.
You can't kill. I mean, I don't know, because at the end of the day, if I was in a Chucky situation, I'd have man. Chucky would have got the boot of death from me. Soccer kick Chucky.
Yeah,
man,
but
Leprechaun too though.
Chucky keeps coming back. What they tried to burn him, and then he was like still crawling, trying to get Andy. Like in the second one, like he gets his hand ripped off.
Why was he trying to get Andy anyway? What was that? Was he trying to
I think he was
possess
trying
him?
to. Yeah, I think he was just trying to get out of the body of the
Don't
doll.
let Jennifer show up too.
See, what Chucky really needed was to get with that kid from what was that, Toy Story? That was messing up the toys?
Oh, Sid.
That should be the fight. Chucky versus Sid. That would be crazy, man. We're going to let y'all marinate on that one, and we're going to be right back.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama?
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Yeah. So we back, and I mean, even though we're about to switch to another fight, I definitely want to get back onto that subject of Chucky versus Sid. Now, my man Brian just brought up an interesting point. Now, if you had Sid and Chucky, being that he's trying to possess another kid so he can get, you know. So if Sid and Chucky merged, what type of evil being would this be?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that. That's like that.
What type of evil being would this be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That'd
oh
be
my
like
God.
the spawn of the devil or something. I would not want to see that at all.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But then
No.
again, what if, you know, Leprechaun, like, in the hood, you know, people in the hood jump you. So, like, he gonna call his man, he gonna call a regular Leprechaun. So they gonna
He gonna call another mystical creature. He gonna call it a djinn from the Witch Master.
they gonna definitely shoot the monkey to him. Chucky gonna roll up, him, like Chucky said, or whatever you want to call it. They gonna think it's sweet. They gonna get banked. It could be like 9 of these battles.
You gonna come in there with all your 3 wishes.
Make your 3 wishes.
Now Chucky got a family now. You know, bride of Chucky, son of Chucky. now he got
like Beyonce with Jay-Z and 50 Face though.
We gotta kill him, Chucky.
What'd you say? We gotta kill him?
The way she used to talk all slow and like.
Oh yeah, the voice of Jennifer Tilly, I think it was. Yeah.
What was going on with her? She was all messed up?
No, this is how she would talk. Like.
What, you was trying to be seductive as a little dog?
That's how like
that's
the,
just how
the
she
actress talks.
Yeah,
like.
that's just how she talks. Remember that one Child's Play or Chucky movie that had Redman in it?
That was the one where his son.
It was those son of Chucky, I think. Oh my God.
And he was trying to get at Red Man's body.
Oh my goodness, man. It's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, some movies just should be stricken from like existence.
She gave him dinner and he was sitting up there
Yeah,
just.
that's the scene I remember. He was just oh man,
That's going up there with Busta Rhymes and Halloween.
No.
I don't know. That's in the league of its own right there. I don't know about that.
He going karate. He going crane kick Michael Myers.
You see, Redman with his sense of humor, I could see him doing something like what he did in Chucky. Busta Rhymes, that should have never happened. That should have just never happened. So.
Hey, nah, but you know this next fight gonna kill y'all though, right? It's more of a serious fight, but I do want to see it. Now y'all, you know, I'm with the good old back in the day movies. You know, I like Pam Grier, but you remember her and Foxy Brown?
Oh yeah.
She was getting busy at Foxy Brown.
It's a little bit past my time. I know Jackie Brown.
No, man, I'm talking about Foxy Brown.
Yeah,
you know
70s, a black sports say Foxy Brown, Coffee, all that. Yeah.
But let me ask you this: you remember that movie Long Kiss Goodnight?
Not really, no.
Oh, you gotta see that.
You gotta see it, man. It's a classic.
I guess
But
my age is showing.
And Samuel Jackson in that joint. But look, there's a chick in that joint. She loses her memory, right? Yeah. Something in my back pocket. But anyway, she loses her memory, right? She get married, and next thing you know, she's all spaced out, you know, space cadet type of joint. And then she just cutting carrots one day, and then, you know, her memory like come back. But turns out she's like a psychopath killer. Like, you know, he ain't really a psychopath, but, you know, you kind of have to be.
Total Recall?
Nah, she's like an assassin whole time, right?
Yeah.
But the way she carry it, she definitely like a psycho.
Yeah,
like,
she got amnesia.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then she started like her memory started to come
amnesia.
back.
Well, she's a killer, like, but the way she get down, like, look, some dude, when she get her memory back, some dude see her that she had tried to kill her already or try to kill her. He break out of jail, come to the crib. He got the whole neighborhood hostage. She opened the door, he put the shotgun in her face. Somehow she get him away from the joint, he still her. They get a scuffling.
Yeah, then that muscle memory start coming back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She get busy with him. She smacked my man in the face with a pie, a pie, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, in them suburban areas, they have a pie, but the glass, they make the pie and be like real glass. It'd be like thick glass. It was like nice and classic stuff. You don't have to wear every bit about 20
Snapped
pounds.
his neck.
And then, like, this is the crazy part. The family looking at her, like her husband and her kid looking at her. She licked the cake icing off the man's scalp. Like, yeah.
Chefs do that.
Chefs do that.
Chefs do that.
I'm like, Sean, we get a divorce ASAP. What's wrong with you? Like, the man is dead, you know what I'm saying? The Caden said it, you know, bodies rot quick, you know what I'm saying? She's licking the, oh my God. And he bloody? That she's a psychopath.
Yeah.
But I would like to see her in like Foxy, because Foxy Brown back in the day was getting busy. She was pulling like guns out her hair and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
she knew that little karate kick. She had the little bell bottoms, you know what I'm saying? She was definitely sexy. So
I don't know, man. Like Foxy Brown, Charlie Baltimore, but I mean, you just went through the whole thing with Charlie Baltimore. I mean, you get
that's the ice. That's the iceberg.
Sarah Connor stuff.
Oh, nah, she definitely in the Merc, Sarah Connor. But you know, black girl power, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, shorty, like Pam Grier was y'all, like, no, she wasn't no joke. She wasn't nothing to be played with. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the gangsters in the 70s too? They wasn't playing. Everybody had the night. They had to. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody
All
cut
the
you.
pimps with the long nails.
They had to face all of them. You know, they had all the game. You know what I'm saying? I cut you. And the knife is always super long. Where was this knife at? You know what I'm saying? This is always, you know what I'm saying? Like, man. And then, you know, I guess between the two of them, it might have to be a tie. But I mean, if I had to put money on it,
I don't know, man. I mean,
I don't know.
I want to go Charlie Baltimore. Life is pain.
get used to it. The daughter say that. How you say that to your kid?
Life is pain. Get used to it.
She take the, her daughter fell down, broke her arm. Right? She's like, I think my arm's broke. She's like, look, life is pain. Get used to it. Then she tell the little girl, she like, now you gonna skate over to the shore, princess, and you ain't gonna fall again. Then she cock her head. Am I understood? I'm like, man, what? Go child protective custody on her immediately. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's gonna be all right, man. But we hope we love the show. We're gonna say goodbye one last time to them last two people. What's his name? JDF?
R.I.P. JDF and Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace.
Batman.
And we're gonna see y'all next time.